Okay. So I've been thinking about for the last couple of days about words. I've been thinking about the way that words are created, I guess. So I think the word is etiology, like etiology. I'm not sure. I have to Google it. But the origin of a word or where it comes from. And one of the things that I studied as an undergrad was speech, language, hearing sciences. So in there, the word language, that is when I got really interested in linguistics and phonology. At first, I hated it, to be honest. I was like, there is nothing more boring than linguistics and languages. Like, this sucks. I hated it. But once I got good at it and I started to understand it, I was like, this is actually really badass. And languages are fucking sick. And everywhere you look, everywhere you go, especially living in like Southern California, you hear accents everywhere. You hear people speaking different languages everywhere. And I just fucking love them. So I was specifically thinking about a word in Spanish, paraguas. So it means umbrella, right? So paraguas. And the reason why I was thinking about that word is because yesterday or the day before, I don't remember, I was showing one of my friends the loteria deck, like the Mexican bingo game. And I was just in my room and I was, showing them all the cards and stuff. And I remember I explained that paraguas means, it's like the two words combined, para aguas, and it literally means for water. And that just kind of set me off and started thinking about, how words are chosen. Because really words are created to give meaning to something, to label something, right? But they're completely arbitrary. So they're random. Like we didn't choose the word umbrella because it looks like a picture of an umbrella. Does that make sense? So like the words that we choose don't look like or describe the actual item that we're labeling. So the word table doesn't look like a table other than like the letter T, that kind of, I guess. But, for the most part, the words that we choose to represent something don't look like or describe the item that we're labeling. Other than things like onomatopoeia, right? So when you learn that in 3rd grade or 4th grade, you learn that, wow, wow, like a dog barking. That's like, we named it that because it's, it sounds like the actual thing that we're describing. Or like the word pow and bam are supposed to describe like Pam, like bam and pow, if that makes sense. I feel like I'm just kind of going in circles, but I hope that's making sense. The only words in the English language that actually resemble like the name are onomatopoeia. But then I was thinking about sign language because I know a little bit. I'm not fluent, but I'm to the point where I can have like a very simple conversation, and I can also ask for clarification. Like if I don't know what something means, I know how to ask with sign language. I can ask somebody what a sign means, or I can ask them to finger spell it or whatever. And the thing that's really cool that I learned about sign language is that a lot of the signs are iconic. And iconic in the language sense, it means that the sign looks like or actually describes what you're talking about. So for example, and I've talked about this with several friends before because I'm always thinking about it. I don't know why. I'm just thinking about languages and linguistics all the fucking time. So one of the things that I tell my friends so that they understand what I'm talking about is like, you as a person right now who doesn't know sign language, I would ask my friends to sign the word rain. So without knowing any sign language, be like, what do you think the sign for rain is? And usually they do some sort of sign where they hold up both hands and then their fingers are kind of the drops, right? So both of their hands drop down in a vertical line or whatever, and it kind of looks like rain, right? So your hand goes from up to the bottom, and that's what rain is. Like, if you never told me the sign for rain, I would assume that that's the sign for rain. And chances are, whatever you sign in your own mind, that's the right sign, because that is the sign for rain in American Sign Language. Same thing, like if you're a barista or something. So if you work in the service industry at all, and somebody is across the room from you, and you can't hear them, and you're looking for a cup, for example, chances are that the person across the room is gonna sign the word cup in a very similar way as somebody who is deaf, whose first language is sign language, because cup is iconic, and you're probably holding up a letter C with your hand, and you're like, oh, where's the cup, right? So that's what I mean by iconic. So the signs look like what you are representing, what you are talking about. They're not all the signs are like that, because when you get into abstract thought, obviously abstract thoughts don't have an image, so you can't just like create it with your hand, and you have to involve motion and pauses and rhythm to be able to express an abstract thought in sign language. Oh shit, where am I going? I'm trying to get some coffee. So anyways, I was just thinking about languages again, like I always am. I think that's it for now. I don't know.